Part two.
Part
For the
two.
video, we just did a video on Barbie.
We
You
just
saw
did
Barbie.
a video on Barbie. Yeah.
I saw Oppenheimer at the exact same time you were watching Barbie.
Exact same time in South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina, Folly Beach.
we're
Just
here.
we were recording here in South Carolina during
so
during low
beautiful.
tide. I wondered if you watched the Barbie video that we talked about Barbie. Could you see the water
Going
receding?
out.
Like if you time lapsed it,
Probably.
is there less water than there is now?
For sure.
Because it's getting more and more. But yeah, we did all kayaking way back in there in the tall
Earlier
grass.
today.
But that's not what we're here
And
to talk
I'm,
about.
Wearing a shirt
Oh,
from
yeah.
a yoga
Yeah,
studio.
you're hyping yoga?
Yeah.
Yoga? I said yoga.
Yoloha. If you're ever in this area, it's an amazing studio. Yoloha Yoga. We
I
went
think
this
the more
morning.
interesting story, which, we probably won't get into.
They also make all their cork mats and surfboards and bolsters and everything.
We've had quite the South Carolina Folly Beach
Experience.
experiences, including
Wait, do you want
including-
your video to do better than mine by telling this story in your video instead of mine?
what our EV hitchhiking story?
Yeah.
No, I won't leave. I'll leave it. I know
No. Tell it.
No, there's no story to tell.
There is a story to
No,
tell.
we charge traveling with an electric
This
vehicle.
is our first long road trip.
It's
with our
treacherous.
EV.
It's fun. It brings anxiety back to travel. And there's no place to charge really here except a place that's about 1.5 miles from here.
Which happens to be pretty close.
That's not that far. So we charged it.
So we
And
decided
we walked back.
we only have one car.
We drove the car and walked back the 1.5 miles back to the place while it charged overnight.
But it started pouring.
And
Which was fine. We decided to take that risk. We knew it might start raining.
And because we've never seen a horror movie. When it's raining in the middle, it's like also nighttime. It's dark.
It was getting dark at that time.
It was dark. When it's
So it's pouring rain.
raining,
We're
and
walking on the side of a semi-busy
a
road.
pickup truck pulls over to the side of the road,
and
pops the door open and says where we're going, and we like point down the road and we're hesitant. And he's like, what does he say? He's like,
he says, get in or don't.
Get
I
in or
don't care.
Get in or don't. I don't care. So we got in. When someone says that, clearly they're not going to
We
murder
did
us.
not tell our children that we did this.
We got in the vehicle and showed them exactly where we're staying.
Exactly where we're staying.
We're like, come here. You know the fun part? We never talked about this because
we call him Marble Jack.
Marvel Jack. No, we just call him Jack.
I call him Marble Jack
Oh,
because
Marble. I got you. I thought you said
Marlboro,
Marlboro.
like the
Marble.
cigarette.
Okay.
Marlboro.
Well, his car smelled like that.
And he had packs of them everywhere.
No, the fun part was because we were both sort of like scrunched in his passenger seat of
I
his
was
truck,
literally sitting on your lap.
right? Did you have any freak out moment when you were trying to open the door handle and it wouldn't open because he
Yes.
had the child locks on?
Yes.
That was fun.
That was fun. I couldn't find the handle.
That's when it was like, oh, this is the moment.
And B, I was like, I can't get out of this truck.
This is the moment.
This
he,
is it.
He had us. Jack had us.
Jack,
We were in Jack's trap.
Marble Jack had us.
Yeah.
But he was just a nice South
No, this is a
Carolina
nice
guy.
He was nice.
So nice. He just knows if he helps other people, the karma will come back to him.
It's
and
karma.
He will have a good life. And he was helpful. We didn't actually have to go much farther, but we felt really drenched and hopeless.
But we didn't realize how close we were at that point.
Yeah.
So luckily we survived that experience.
We did.
So I can tell you about Oppenheimer,
Yes.
the film.
Let's go. Let's do it.
How much time you got? The movie's long.
Well, we currently have about 40 minutes.
All right. So then I will, I'll just tell you how my youngest son who saw it with us,
10 years old,
10 years
R-rated
old.
movie.
But I think it was a good R-rated movie to see.
I mean,
I did my due
no one's
diligence.
judging you.
I looked it up a bit to see if there was anything too adult in there, and it really wasn't.
Besides the boobs.
There was a little bit of nudity, but nothing.
Oh wait, the full frontal.
No, but that was the thing. That's
I'm
internet
just kidding.
hype.
I'm trying to
It didn't
get.
happen.
I'm
I know.
trying to get at you.
I would have been.
Just
I would have been down. It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
That was internet hype.
So I was like, "Sorry, son. The internet lied again. The internet finally got something wrong."
No, I think you cultivate movies well for kids to see, to kind of enter them into that
You do.
zone
And
of
this is the thing.
of
It's a
this
heavy
is
movie.
okay.
His
Yeah.
review: big bomb goes boom.
Big bomb goes boom.
Put that on the thing. Big bomb goes boom. But here's the interesting thing about Oppenheimer. The big bomb goes boom is a tiny little part of that film.
Okay.
Like maybe 15 minutes. You know, not even less than the promised full frontal that never appeared. Much like the trailer talks about it's all about this bomb, right? We're making the bomb or doing the bomb or testing the bomb or dropping the bomb. Right? I'm going to say thankfully it's not that movie.
Okay. That's good.
That lands, I'll say pun intended, that lands like kind of directly in the middle of the film. The bomb part.
Okay.
Um,
I think that might be Jack's truck, but it's okay.
It'd be great if it was. Jack's on his way. If he wants to pop in and be on the podcast,
go ahead.
He's more than welcome. Here's my conundrum. Kind of like Barbie, you're thinking about all the people going in to see Barbie. I'm sitting in a theater that's packed. It's a 2:00, 2:50 showing. At kind of a not so great theater. It's funny how nowadays just stadium seating is like not great.
Not great.
It's like, there's no reclined seats.
I didn't even talk about my theater experience.
What's funny, on the theater experience, there's another
God.
podcast I listen to. I'm going to give a shout out, this movie reserved seating YouTube podcast. And even last week, he made a comment about going to a theater out of town. And he said it was like a scary experience for him. You just had an uncomfortable experience. He said this was a scary theater, to which he saw a certain movie. I don't know I think it was like an older movie. But anyway, he said he was left with the thought, there are people who live in this town, and this is the theater they have to go to all the time. So it's a funny thing how you get comfortable with your theater.
We have a good theater.
I know we do.
Yeah.
But then if you stop and think, not only was like, this is the kind of movies people in this town have to go, this is the theater they have to go to all the time. Like even your sister, we were describing what kind of theater we have in Tampa.
She was like, oh my gosh.
Actually, they're kind of different theaters. And she was like, why don't we have that here? I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Because you have Regal.
No, I mean, Regal has good theaters, but anyway.
I've never been to a good Regal theater.
So my thought with Oppenheimer, my first initial thought was this theater's packed. Not an empty seat.
Really?
In the theater.
Interesting. There was empty seats in ours.
It
was packed, but
if it wasn't
empty
sold out, it was only because there might have been some seats in the very front row, like your neck all the way back. There was even some seat changing shenanigans happening at the beginning of Oppenheimer. Like, you're sitting in my seat. Like people were like moving, which had triggered an interesting chain reaction, right?
That happened in our theater.
Which then I was like, they're in the wrong seat, which then means they're in the wrong seat. So I'm like, come on, guys.
Who cares? Just sit down.
No, come on. We're here to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Just sit down. That kind of happened to us too.
But my feeling about Oppenheimer was I'm seeing all these people in here, and I'm like, there's no way that everybody in this theater is going to like what they're about to see.
Okay. How did you feel at the end? Did everybody like what they were about to see? That they saw?
To quote another podcast I heard recently, the Inception bros behind me, they didn't say the statement, but they used the term Inception bros. Like people are like, we love Inception, bro. Like Christopher Nolan's bigger movie. I did have some Inception bros behind me.
Okay.
So I'm like, we love Inception. We love Tenet. They were like, that sucked.
Oh. Nice.
Well, that sucked.
And on the opposite coin in Barbie, we had 4 girls behind us laughing hysterically.
Right.
Like it was the funniest thing they've ever seen. And we're all like, why don't we think this is funny?
So why does Oppenheimer quote suck?
Why does it
This
suck?
is an essay written by the
Jesse
Inception
Johnson.
bros.
Oh, okay. Why does it suck?
No, one, it didn't. I loved it.
I know you did.
Loved it. It's a movie that messes you up, but I think it's a movie that should mess you up. And because it ends with a lot heavy. It's a heavy movie, but
Well, a bomb goes off. That's heavy.
That's the atomic bomb.
Yeah, the atomic bomb goes off.
Responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of Japanese
that's heavy.
people.
It should be heavy. It should mess you up.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then it's not being...
The movie's 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't see it, but these are also the reasons why one should see it, right?
Okay.
And in the Inception bros, maybe they'll come around.
Probably not, but I like your
Yeah, because
optimism.
no buildings went upside down. People weren't dreams
There's no
within dreams.
monsters.
Well, there's no monsters in Inception. Inceptions are like in the dreams within the dreams.
Okay.
And
Oh, right.
you get to contemplate like, oh, is the top ever going to fall down? About
Gotcha.
is he awake or is he asleep?
Gotcha.
You know, some real big questions. Inception's a great movie. I'm not trying to knock it, right? There's a lot. Most of this movie is two people having a conversation for 10 minutes at a time.
Okay.
And like, there's just a whole bunch of talk.
I'm sure Ira loved that.
He was into it.
He was? Okay. Do you think he followed it?
Not 100%,
Okay.
but I think he got enough of it.
Okay.
But no, so the first, it's a lot of talking. The first half is all about just like making this bomb and like understanding Robert Oppenheimer and kind of his path. Again, I'm not a big fan of biopics. And I think biopics, that's my own slant against it, is like a biopic. But it's just Cillian Murphy, which you've seen before. You'll recognize him.
I can't picture him right now, but
Superb.
he was really good.
Superb as Oppenheimer.
You think it's Oscar
Yeah.
worthy?
Well, I think there's 3 potential Oscar nominations from this film. You got Cillian Murphy. There's this guy who used to only do Iron Man movies. He goes by
Robert
Downey Jr. You might have heard of him.
I've heard of him.
Apparently,
Is he in it?
Apparently he can act.
No.
No, of course we know he can
now
act.
that he's not on drugs.
No, he's not on drugs, and he hasn't been doing Tony Stark. I'm joking. Like,
Yeah.
he's just,
can
we
do a real
haven't
movie.
seen him do a real movie in a decade plus.
I think he has his shit together now.
Robert Downey Jr. kills.
He's like a serious actor now.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. kills it. As this
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah. He doesn't play the villain because it's funny. I turned to my oldest son and I was like, "Oh, Robert Downey Jr. is the villain." I said a joke like Tony Stark's the bad guy this time, and he's like, "Well, actually, he was not the bad guy." Like, because it's true. The movie, even with Oppenheimer, Cillian Murphy's performance, everything swims in the gray. Like, they're not saying, is Murphy good guy? Is he a bad guy? Because he creates this weapon of mass destruction. Is it a weapon of peace? Is it a weapon of destruction? He made this thing, but he got so caught up in making it that if they could make it, didn't realize the impact it might have on the world. And that when you make a thing, like, can you wash your hands of that responsibility?
Like, is all
Like, 'cause
those
he kept-
people's lives your
Well, he kept saying,
responsibility or
like,
not? Yeah.
We made it. It's not our job to worry about what people do with it. Right? Truman, a character playing, Harry S. Truman's in it, the president. And he even has a line later that says, like, they don't care about who made it. They just care about who dropped it. I dropped it. So Robert Downey Jr. is great. Cillian Murphy's great. Emily Blunt, who plays Oppenheimer's wife. She kills it. Matt Damon.
Emily Blunt is great.
Matt Damon's in it. He's not too damn shabby either.
He's rebounded from Air.
That's right. Look at it. We said he was just being...
Poor Matt Damon
we
in Air.
said
I
he
kind
was-
of felt sorry for him in Air. I was like, is this what you're doing now?
We did it.
Like, I love
We
Matt
signed Michael
Damon.
Jordan.
I love Matt Damon. And I like Ben Affleck. But I did not.
No, we already said
like,
Ben Affleck
what?
stole
Is that
the
what
show
we're
in Air.
doing? Yeah.
Matt Damon was just being Matt Damon. Matt Damon's good in this. Matt Damon has a pretty chunky role in Oppenheimer.
Are you saying that?
He's also kind of chunky.
Yeah. I forgot the word for it. Are you being... Whatever. I can't think of the word right now.
No, so those Emily Blunt's really great. Emily Blunt plays his wife, Oppenheimer's wife, but Oppenheimer is also presented as like a womanizer.
Of course.
Has a number of relationships outside of his marriage. But it's also it's done in a way where sometimes the first half of the movie she's just sort of like silent in the background, and then when she emerges, she has like a really powerful role by the end, and is a staunch defender
Of her husband.
of her husband. But at the same time, it's not one of those things where like publicly she plays it so well. Publicly a staunch defender of her husband in public, but behind closed doors, like when it's the two of them, like tells them like it is.
It's like Hillary Clinton.
Maybe it might be.
Right?
Should we know? Should we assume what it is behind the doors?
I think we've heard a lot of things about
But like,
that.
there's a great line later in the film where she like turns to Oppenheimer because he plays the role too, like post bomb, like Mr. Pouty, like mopey, sad, like oh my god, what have I done? I've destroyed the world. Which in essence he did.
Yeah.
He's created a thing that could potentially in
Civilization.
humankind.
Yeah.
But she says the line like, he's one of those like looking for sympathy from his wife. And she just turns to him and says like, do you think if you let them tar and feather you, you'll be forgiven? Like you'll feel better.
Right.
Like, and then just like
True.
turns and walks away from him.
It's true.
You're not going to get any like, sympathy from me in this. Like you made this bed, you sleep in it. So now you embrace it. Moping about it's not going to do anything.
Now you're going to have to.
But just Emily
stand
Blunt's
up for your
performance. Forget The Quiet Place Part 2, which you love to death.
I want to see it again.
She kind of steals it in this one.
She's awesome. She's
For
one
a
of my
movie
favorite actresses.
that you could see as a criticism for a movie that is very just male dominant. We're talking about Barbie. In that realm, the Barbie folks might hate Oppenheimer for this. That's very white male.
So we had
and heavy.
these two opposite end of the spectrum movies coming out on the same day.
Yeah, and like you said, the male movie, the female. But again, Oppenheimer, like, unfortunately, this is a movie from the 1940s, based in the mid to 1940s.
So it was the real portrayal of
white males. This is the mess they made. And you see what they did? They made a bomb that could destroy the whole world. Right? So I don't think it's the celebrating of the white male.
No, definitely not.
And there's no diversity because what? Japanese folks, unfortunately, were all being sent to internment camps in the United States. And, we were pre-civil rights movement. So it was a bunch of white people messing up the world. And that's kind of one of, not the heavy-handed point of the movie, but it's the point of the struggle of the consequences of your actions.
Yeah.
And that you do this thing and the consequences are huge.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why I love the movie. Why the Inception bros probably don't is because a lot of that's just told through conversations.
Right. It was a lot of, intellectual
not even it. It's
relationship.
It's just talking. It's sitting around looking. And so there's this parallel of Robert Downey Jr.'s character is he is trying to get a cabinet seat with the president.
Right.
He's being appointed, and so this is a hearing where he is having. You know how you see it. They do the House representative, they get up and they ask him questions.
Yeah.
And so they're drilling him about his relationship with Oppenheimer. Because there's an ongoing current too is Oppenheimer was a communist sympathizer, supporter in this era when that was completely frowned upon. So it's that whole thing too.
Yeah.
But you know who's also going to this? Rami Malek.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The guy kind of...
Weird face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who sometimes his performances are like hit or miss.
Yeah.
And you're like, I kind of like him in this movie. I don't like him in this movie.
But do I like looking at him? I'm not sure.
He has a smaller bit part in this movie. Kills it.
Oh, that's good.
Do you remember Josh Hartnett?
I do.
Right?
What was he in?
He was in
some 90 teen love movies.
40 Days and 40 Nights.
Yeah.
Where he refused to have sex for 40 days and 40 nights. Remember that one?
No, I know exactly who he is. Like, I can picture him. Yeah.
Kills it. Remember the actor? And I should know his name. Dan Hartman, maybe? Remember the movie Summer School?
Yeah.
Who's the actor's name? The main guy. Kind of feathery brown hair, sunglasses.
Oh, I know. I know who that is.
He has some other movie maybe where he has a dog next to him or a TV show.
No, I know who that is. He has a TV show. He had a TV show.
Always wore a button-up, cool Hawaiian shirt. Mm-hmm. Mr. Cool.
Can't think who that is. Should I look it up?
No, we'll just put the name on the screen.
Okay. But I know exactly who that is. I just can't think of his name.
Josh Hartnett in Oppenheimer looks just like him.
Oh, I
So
can see
Josh
that.
Hartnett
I can see that.
is in this film. Half the movie I'm watching Oppenheimer and I'm like, is that Josh Hartnett? I'm like, I hope it is. And so I had to sit and wait for the credits to confirm it. He does a great little performance.
Yeah, that's good. I want to see it. I don't know if you're going to see it again.
I would gladly see it again.
At home.
Listen,
In the theater?
I don't want to Tom Cruise it. Right? I want to be all cruisy on Oppie. Right?
I didn't even know Emily Blunt was in it. Now that I know she was in it, this movie wasn't really on my radar, to be honest. And I will see anything
Here's
Emily
the thing,
Blunt is in.
I like Christopher Nolan just as much as any Inception bro. But
Are you putting yourself in
in fact, I rode
Inception?
with all the Inception bros in their van to the thing.
You did? Unless you're calling your children your Inception bros.
No. I was like, they were like, that sucked. And I turned around and gave them high fives. All of them. And then we bumped bellies.
And then you cheers PBRs.
Yeah. we were
Oh,
crushed.
wait. Michelob Light.
Yeah, we were crushing Mick Lights the whole
All
thing.
night.
We were burping out loud every
Like
time.
25 of them.
Every time Cillian Murphy started talking again.
We're being stereotypical right
Every
now.
time Cillian Murphy
We
started
are.
opening his big old mouth about neutrons and isotopes, we just did loud belches.
Are you getting me into man bashing? Is my husband man bashing right now?
No, because there was also, it's funny, there's also a lot of elderly people in there.
Because they were alive. Yeah, this was their.
That's what my oldest son said. He's like, I guess they were alive when it happened. I'm like, probably not. But they were young enough to know
What was
that
happening?
was happening.
Yeah.
Or they were born, they were children.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
the 40s? Yeah.
No, I don't want to get all cruisy on Oppie here. But, and there's really, except for
You don't want to get all cruisy on Oppie.
Oppenheimer.
I know.
Okay.
I just had to restate that
I
statement.
don't want to get all
Like,
cruisy on Oppie here, but, and I say that because of the whole Top Gun Maverick, like, thanks for coming to the movies.
Oh, yeah.
We made this happen, right? The pre-Maverick
Pre-Tom Cruise talk.
Tom Cruise talk.
Pep talk.
The no one's seeing Mission Impossible, whatever it is, part 1.
I'm going to personally thank you for coming to this movie.
Yeah. No, she's like, now please go see my Mission Impossible movies. I made 2 of them.
Yeah.
No one went to go see them this weekend.
No.
Cruising on Oppie. And apart from the bomb sequence and the score that's just like drowning your ears out the whole movie. Remember like Interstellar? It's a Christopher Nolan film. We watched it at home. Do you remember like just the constant score movie stuff in that film? Right? The cornfields, him flying through space,
Constant.
McConaughey
That's how this
going
was?
like, Murph!
Yeah.
Stay, Murph! And then it's just like, brrr, like all this
The
music.
sound was like,
And Casey Affleck, who has a bit part in Oppenheimer.
when
As
we
well.
got new speakers for our media room,
So loud. That's the movie
that's
we
the movie we
sound
tested
checked
them
it.
out
Yeah.
on.
It almost, I know it's, I'm not as nuanced on scores as I should be. The Oppenheimer score shares Interstellar score,
Okay.
but it's in your face.
yeah.
So apart from the music that's in your face, that a theater would do better than your home. And the bomb sequence, which is spectacular, like a vision to be
Has
seen.
to be. With a movie called Oppenheimer.
2 hours and 30 minutes of the film is just extreme close-ups of actors' faces.
That's why people need violence, sex, or something.
But it's just
keep them engaged.
I know it's so you're saying like, oh, wait to see it at
I
home.
don't, but I hate that that's where our movies have gone to.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's nothing. Sometimes like, oh, you got to see this in the theater. You got to see. Got to see this Fast and Furious movie in the theater because of all the crazy things.
Whatever.
There's really, the movie looks really, really good, obviously, Oppenheimer. But I think the theater definitely, seeing this on as big a screen as possible, being engrossed in it, even though it is 80 to 90% dialogue, is the way to see Oppenheimer.
Okay.
So I would see it again, but I would see it on a big screen again.
Maybe we'll go back.
Yeah.
To our comfy theater.
Or maybe we try to see it on IMAX. It was shot on IMAX film. But then are we just getting into the hype? Probably.
We got into the hype. We went opening weekend to Oppie and Barbie.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Bobby and Oppie fall in love.
It's like Barbenheimer, I think that people are calling it.
Oppenheimer.
No, it's like Barbenheimer.
Yeah, I get it. Oh. Yeah, I'm just messing with you.
I think they should have went cruisy for Oppie.
Well,
so anyway,
I'll go see it with
Oppenheimer's
you.
good. I can understand why people would say it was terrible or boring.
Have a lot of people said that?
I don't know.
Besides
I don't pay attention
the Inception bros?
I don't pay attention, really.
Okay. This is what I do pay attention, and so many people loved Barbie. Like, even like critics, reviews, all that stuff. It has great reviews and great critics, but I have to be honest, like, whatever. I didn't like it that much, but...
Oh, you know who else is in Oppenheimer? Not to interrupt you.
It's okay.
Kenneth Branagh.
Really?
He's in it too. Sorry.
I like you say that again. Branagh.
That's from our Belfast episode.
I know.
A little throwback to the fans.
Thank you. I was there.
All right.
All right.
So, I mean, again, I think...
You drank some of my sour.
I know, but we're not showing yet. But sorry to, like, gush on Oppenheimer.
No, it's okay. You know what? I enjoyed my experience at Barbie because I was with some people that I love dearly.
Here's the thing,
and that's really all that mattered to me at that moment. So, I'm fine with it.
I don't want to be an Oppie bro, an Oppie obsessor.
Well, bro couldn't be never used to describe you. So
no,
an Oppie nerd. Oppie nerd. Nerd is a better word than bro for you when you end a movie.
Well, no, because Inception, bro, it's a derogatory term.
No, I get
meant to insinuate that they don't get why the movie.
It is derogatory.
Why the movie really is good.
And their conversations probably did lead you to believe that in them.
That sucked. Well, that sucked.
No reflection.
Like, I'm not going to even think about this for a minute. The movie ends, again.
There were no boobs. Nothing blew up.
No, there were plenty of boobs.
Bloobs?
There were plenty of boobs, and things blew up.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is, no moment to even sit and reflect for a minute. Let me think about this. It ends with giving you the thought of, like, the futility of existence. Our one little spot,
honey. They're not thinking of things.
Our one little, that we are a tiny little thing on a huge expanding universe. That we are truly insignificant in nothing.
Right.
But yet, one human being leading a team. It wasn't him by himself. Potentially, could have ended the world. We still could end the world based on this invention.
True.
And carrying that weight with you.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life.
Like the personal kind of...
Sort of ends you in that headspace. It's not a positive, feel-good place.
Well, some people don't like to think too much about stuff like that.
So instead of thinking for a minute, you go, well, that sucked.
Some people want to think their existence is huge. I take it all back.
That does suck.
It does suck.
So you know what?
It 100% sucks.
The Inception boys, which I'll go from bros to boys. The Inception boys got it right on this one.
That does suck.
It does suck.
Yes.
And with that, I'll cheers you.
Cheers.
And bye.
Bye.